Welcome to another episode of Recap Ethiopia, your number one source for a summary of events in Ethiopia over any given week. This week's main story is about the controversial regional special force that has emerged as a point of discussion in recent times in Ethiopia. Other stories about the recognition and victory recorded by the Dibaba sisters, the inauguration of the Moyale-Hawassa road by the heads of state of Kenya and Ethiopia, and the rescue of 1,000 military officials from the preemptively attacked Northern Command, including Deputy Commander Brigadier General Adamneh Mengiste, will be discussed in this episode. Stay tuned for a weekly summary of these events in Ethiopia. I'm Moyale-Hawassa, and this is Recap Ethiopia. It's been a good couple of weeks for the Dibaba sisters, with one sister recording more victory and the other receiving recognition for an astounding career. The Dibaba sisters, a household name in Ethiopian and global athletics, have had exceptional careers, with Tirunesh being the most decorated one and Genzebe promising more dominance for Ethiopians in the field of athletics. The sisters are not the only ones in their family to have dominated athletics. Daraartu Tulluu, the first African female black Olympic champion, is also the cousin as well as their inspiration. Let's start with Genzebe Dibaba, the 29-year-old who has recorded immense victories over the past years in the 1,500, 5,000 and 10,000 meter distances. The one-time Olympic gold medalist took on the half marathon distance in Valencia on Saturday, December 5, 2020, winning on her debut race. Genzebe completed the race with the time 1 hour, 5 minutes and 18 seconds, making her the 12th fastest woman over the distance. This is an outstanding record, especially considering it was her first attempt over the half marathon distance. Genzebe Dibaba was not the only Ethiopian to have participated in the race. Fellow Ethiopian Samberi Teferi also participated in the Valencia half marathon, finishing the race in third with a time of 1 hour, 5 minutes and 51 seconds. Genzebe Dibaba was born in Beqojji, RC on February 8, 1991 to the infamous Dibaba family. Genzebe's older sister and arguably the most decorated and successful female Ethiopian long-distance runner, Tirunesh Dibaba, also received an immense recognition from the Athletics Weekly. The magazine recognized Tirunesh Dibaba as the greatest female athlete to have graced the sport since 1945. Along with Usain Bolt, who received the same recognition in the men's category from the Athletics Weekly. Tirunesh secured 31% of the votes to receive the prestigious recognition. The long-distance runner, who was also born in Beqojji, RC on June 1, 1985, has recorded immense victories over the 5,000 and 10,000 meter distances, cementing her name in Ethiopian and global athletics. Tirunesh's career is outstanding. Between 2005 and 2012, Tirunesh was unbeaten in 12 consecutive races over 25 laps, as well as being the first female athlete to win the 5,000 and 10,000 at a single Olympic during the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Tirunesh made her debut at the age of 15 on Ethiopia's junior squad at 2001 World Cross Country Championships, roughly 20 years ago, where she finished 5th. She's truly one of the greatest athletes in the 5,000 and 10,000 meters, topping scoreboards in track as well as cross-country races over the past 2 decades. Part of the Trans-African Highway and Africa's newest campaign to inaugurate economically, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and President Uhuru Kenyatta inaugurated the 500-kilometer-long road from Hagari Salam to Hawassa to Moyale on December 9, 2020. The road is part of the Mombasa-Nairobi-Addis Ababa corridor. The heads of the two nations also inaugurated the Moyale one-step border pass, which is expected to facilitate trade and relations between the residents of the border towns on either side of the country. President Uhuru said to the residents of Moyale on the side of the Ethiopian border, "Indeed, with the completion of this border post, the two countries have demonstrated the political goodwill to address the challenges and impediments facing businesses from both sides. In addition to facilitating trade between the two countries, the border post will also enhance mutual interactions among our people and create synergy and unity of purpose." The Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Dr. Abiy Ahmed, also noted the relevance of the completion of the two projects. The Prime Minister, in a tweet on December 9, said, "The Moyale one-stop border post and the Hawassa-Moyale road projects are a key ingredient for regional economic integration. targeted investments in infrastructure and institutional collaboration are critical to strengthening trade ties. This is another new chapter for East Africa. The stalemate in the Tigray region between the Ethiopian National Defense Forces and Special Police and Militia on one side and the Tigray Special Police and Militia on the other continued in this week, as well with members of the TPLF leadership, including Chairperson Debretsion Gabramikael, veteran members Hebhat Nega, and spokesperson Getachew Redda still at large. Not much has changed in the terms of the details of the conflict since the last episode of Recap Ethiopia was recorded on Thursday, December 3, 2020. However, earlier this week on Sunday, December 6, 2020, the Sekota Zone Communications Office reported that celebrations aided by gunshots were heard in the towns following news that the TPLF leadership were apprehended by the Ethiopian National Defense Forces. Yet, the Communications Office, which is one of the most advanced PR offices in Ethiopia, apologized for sharing the information on its Facebook page, retracting the claim that the TPLF officials had been arrested by the federal forces. Another major development in relation to the conflict in Tigray was the release of 1,000 soldiers held hostage by the TPLF following its attack on the Northern Command on November 4, 2020. The Ethiopian government announced on December 9, 2020 that 1,000 members of the Northern Command, including Deputy Commander Brigadier General Adamneh Mengiste, were rescued following a joint operation by the Federal Police and the Ethiopian National Defense Forces. General Mohammed Tassama, head of indoctrination of the Ethiopian military, confirmed that those detained at the beginning of the conflict have been freed by the Ethiopian military. In the first two phases, nearly 7,000 members of the military and federal police, which were kidnapped during the attack on the Northern Command, had also been freed prior to the current operation that freed 1,000 soldiers. The final stage of what the Ethiopian authorities call a law enforcement operation is currently underway with the aim of bringing TPLF leaders to justice. Like I said earlier, Recap Ethiopia has dedicated this week's main story to the regional special police forces and their legal as well as political standpoint. This week, the commissioner of the Amhara Police Forces, Commissioner Abbere Adamu, asked the federal government to give the Amhara Special Forces mandate to take care of the situation in Metekel or give the Amhara Regional State Special Police mandate to do so. In the same week, Minister of Peace Muferiat Kamil said that the special police were unconstitutional and therefore needed to be considered. In this context, conversation has been sparked about the constitutionality, potential threat, and fate of the special forces. Nothing captures the threat posed by the special forces than the conflict that has been taking place in the Tigray region since November 4, 2020. The Tigray Regional State Special Police and Militia were the ones that opened fire on the Northern Command to spark the conflict. They were also the ones that fought the Ethiopian National Defense Forces and the Amhara Special Forces and Militia in the conflict for over a month. In this regard, it is clear to see that the special forces, which are more loyal to the regional state than the federal structure, require due attention in the country's political discourse. The Tigray Special Forces and Militia that partook in the current conflict are estimated to be around 250,000, even though these numbers are not confirmed cases. So how did the Special Police Forces, locally known as Liyu Hayl, come into existence? Let's go back in time. The Special Police emerged in the Somali regional state in 2007. The Special Forces were not part of the regional police structure at the time. They answered to the former president of the regional state, Abdi Mohamed Umar, commonly known as Abdi Ili. The Special Forces of Somali emerged in the context of efforts to bring the Ogaden National Liberation Front. At that time, because the Ethiopian National Defense Forces were unable to successfully deal with the ONLF due to the language and cultural barriers, unemployed youth in the region were given training and organized to form the country's first regional special forces. The special forces were then deployed to fight the ONLF, which the government at that time had deemed a terrorist group. The Somali Special Forces, since their inception, have been named in a number of human rights violations, including killing of civilians, as well as allegations of rape, torture, and beating of prisoners in the prisons of the regional state. The former and currently imprisoned president of the regional state, Abdi Ile, is said to have used the special forces to commit mass atrocities and human rights violations, leading to institutions such as the Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International calling for the state police to be dismantled. Since then, all regional states have periodically trained and showcased regional state police forces who have attributes of military or paramilitary forces. Notably, the Tigray Regional State Special Police and the Amhara Regional State Special Police are prime examples currently engaged in a full-fledged conflict with one another in the Tigray region. When we talk about the constitutionality and legality of the regional state special police forces, we first find the constitution of the country. According to Article 57, Sub-Article 2 of the Constitution, the 10 ethno-linguistically categorized regional states of Ethiopia have the power to enforce their regional law using regional police forces. While the federal government controls the federal police force and the defense forces, the regional states assume full control and accountability for the regional police. However, the Constitution or any other document in the Ethiopian legal system prescribes just what kind of structure a regional police force should have. No regulation in the provision or any other law stipulates the number, capacity, or appropriate weaponry for the regional state police forces. Neither does the Constitution stipulate where in the hierarchy of the country's security forces regional police fall under. This legislative gap has contributed immensely to the creation of these special forces that are increasingly coming into the spotlight. The Ministry of Peace is attempting to correct the legal gap in the Constitution with a draft proclamation. According to Fana Broadcasting Corporate, the ministry seeks to limit the capacity, weapons used, and mandate of the regional special forces. However, questions regarding feasibility have emerged following this announcement. The main concern is, despite the bill, it would prove challenging for the federal government to disarm and downsize regional special police forces due to the political tensions surrounding the autonomy of regional states. In an interview with the Ethiopian Broadcasting Corporation on August 12, 2020, former Chief of Staff of the ENDF, General Adamneh, said he does not believe the regional special forces are armed heavily enough to cause threat, but confirmed that he believes they are unconstitutional. One of the concerns surrounding the regional special forces is their direct involvement in the depoliticization of security forces, initiated by the current administration. In a recent statement regarding the conflict within the TPLF, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed talked about the strong doctrinization of the military forces by the former administration and the effort to correct that. Growing more and more in relevance and capacity, there is a tenable threat that the regional state special police may also be subject to similar doctrination. This is because they are formed, trained, and erected with minimal involvement from the federal government in an increasingly ethnic environment in Ethiopia. Brewing since 2007, the special forces have now clashed with one another in the recent conflict in the Tigray region, showcasing their ability to become strong non-state armed groups in the case of Tigray Regional State Special Police. Not much is known about the regional state special police. This is mostly because they are emerging in the Ethiopian political landscape. However, recent events, especially the conflict in Tigray, have pushed them into the spotlight. Their threat and relevance were showcased in the past month in the Tigray region. So what of their future? Only time will tell. Nonetheless, it is likely that they will be at the forefront of the deliberations in times to come.